I would like to reflect with you this morning on that last line in the gospel. You would think after the apostles experienced the transfiguration of Christ, heard the voice of God, "This is my beloved Son, let's listen to him," they want to share that news with everybody. But as they're coming down the mountain, what does Jesus say to his disciples? Tell no one of this vision until after the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. Why wait? That's what we're going to try to figure out this morning. The gospel, or rather the Bible, as you know, is divided into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The word testament means a covenant, an agreement. In both the Old and the New, there is a covenant or agreement between God and the people of God. In the Old Testament, the covenant was received under similar circumstances to what we heard in the gospel today. Moses went up into the mountain to pray. There was always this understanding that God is up there, and the higher you are, the closer you get to God. So up in the mountain to pray. He was covered with a channel of light, and he received the Ten Commandments. And God said to Moses, I will be your God if you will be my people. I will lead you out of this desert, find a special place for you, and you will become a great nation. But there's a covenant. Here are my commandments. I will be your God if you will be my people. That's the covenant of the Old Testament. Now Jesus comes along and things are changed. Historically, the people of God did not have a nation. They were dominated by the Roman Empire. They were looking for a new king. They were looking for new freedom. They were looking for more recognition as a great nation. So they were looking forward to a king. And Jesus came and was identified as the Messiah. Finally, we are going to receive our status as a nation again. But the new kingdom that Jesus came to bring and to establish is entirely different from the old kingdom. Entirely different from the expectations even of the apostles. The new covenant, the new agreement is this. Number one, it's not just a few people that this is God the Father speaking. Excuse me if I put myself in that position. This is God the Father speaking. It's not just this nation, but it's the whole world. The vision of the new kingdom that Christ had is this. We are all brothers and sisters because we all claim God as our Father. Not just one nation, but all the peoples of the world. And that was a big change. Another significant change is this. This new kingdom will not be identified with territory or land or wealth or military power. Won't be identified with that at all. This new kingdom will be identified in a world in which all people, because we are all brothers and sisters, all people can live in harmony. A world in which there is justice for everyone. A world in which there is care and concern for everyone. A world in which there is peace for everyone. This is what the new kingdom is going to look like. Now, if Jesus were to allow the apostles to tell them about what happened with the transfiguration at the time it happened, and expect the people to accept this new kingdom, not a kingdom of military might, not a kingdom of wealth, not a kingdom of territorial identity, but a kingdom of justice and peace. A kingdom that's going to be brought about not by force. And this is the strange part about this new covenant. A kingdom that's brought about by serving one another. If you want to be first in my kingdom, said Christ, you must be the last and the servant of all. The apostles weren't ready for that message. The people weren't ready for that message. The only thing that's going to help this message be taken seriously is something like the resurrection. Jesus, who claimed to be Messiah, was crucified on the cross, much to the disappointment of the apostles, until the resurrection. Then the people began to remember those words of Jesus. I am the Messiah. I am the new king. I am the one who's going to bring this new kingdom into the world. It's a kingdom of justice and peace for all. A kingdom where we serve, not lord it over others. Now, if a person, it may be hard for me to accept that, but if a person is to rise from the dead, that authenticates the message. That makes it possible, more possible, for all of us to believe. And that's why Jesus told his apostles, don't tell anybody about this transfiguration until after the Son of Man is risen from the dead. I would suggest that even now, 2,000 years later, we have a difficult time accepting 100% this kingdom that Christ came to give us. We don't like to be the servant of all. Now, sometimes we find it difficult to forgive. Sometimes we're not peacemakers. We divide instead of bringing people together. All of which obviously is contrary to this kingdom. So even today, 2,000 years later, we need to renew the message of Christ's kingdom. Renew the responsibility that we have to be the light of Christ in the world today. To renew the responsibility that we have to be people of peace, to bring people together, to be compassionate, to accept all people. These are the qualities of the new covenant of the New Testament. And these are the qualities that we must have if we are to help Christ create this kingdom in the world today.